Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back and watching me. I really appreciate it. Today, I am so excited to make this video on, the 5 biggest training mistakes new lifters make with their training and nutrition. I see it so often. I made these mistakes myself, and I do not want you making the same mistakes. I'm going to help you out. I wish I came across a video like this when I just started lifting, but I didn't. Oh well, it's in the past. You are not making these same mistakes. Get ready to learn. Alright, so let's jump into it. The first big training mistake or myth that I see a lot of people do, a lot of new lifters, myself included, is that they follow what's called a bro split. Now, you probably heard me talk about this a lot on, my social media channels. A bro split is pretty much looks like something on the screen here, where you hit, chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, shoulders Thursday, arms Friday, and then you rest on the weekends. Something like that, where you're just hitting each muscle group only once per week. Now, this is not optimal. There's a lot of research showing that hitting each muscle group twice per week is a lot better for muscle growth, okay? Now, the main reason for this is, let's say you're doing 12 sets total weekly on chest, and you just want to put it into one session on Monday. You just annihilate your chest. Okay, what if you had 6 sets on Monday, and then, Thursday you hit chest again, and you hit another 6 sets. So the volume's still the same weekly, but you just spread it out over 2 different days. This is going to allow you to, perform better on these sets, because if you're just doing it in one day, at the start of your workout, you're going to be, fired up, really intense, but towards the end, those sets are going to be less intense. And it's not going to be as optimal if you're doing them at, you were fully recovered and fresh in your workout. So that's why you should hit each muscle group, twice per week instead of just jamming all that volume into one session. Now, muscle growth really relies on volume for a driver. So as long as, volume's adequate over the week, you're fine. Just make sure you're recovering properly, and that's why you shouldn't just hit it all in one session. It may impair recovery, and you will have less intensity towards the end of the workout. Another big training mistake that beginners usually make is that they think high reps are better for toning and low reps are better for bulking. Toning doesn't really have any scientific meaning. What most people mean when they say it is usually that they want to lose body fat to reveal a muscle. That's what they usually mean when girls say they want to tone their thighs, tone their abs. They most likely just want to lose body fat so it shows more. Now, working out in the gym, like weightlifting sessions, don't burn that many calories, and you shouldn't use them as a big form of burning calories to enter a calorie deficit to lose weight. As you know, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, and if you are in a calorie deficit and keep your protein high, you're primarily going to lose fat. So that's how you should focus on losing fat, through your diet and cardio, not your weightlifting sessions. Keep those separate, more geared towards muscle building and muscle maintaining in a calorie deficit, not trying to burn a lot of calories from them, because you won't burn that many calories from them. Just think of them as completely separate things. And low reps for bulking, that is also another myth. A bunch of rep ranges are perfectly fine for building muscle. A lot of studies support this. You can build, just as much muscle in a very high rep range versus a very low rep range, as long as volume is equated. Volume is the key driving factor in muscle growth. If volume's equated at different rep ranges, you're gonna see similar muscle growth. But I do think there is a practical hypertrophy range of around 6 to 15 reps. If you go higher than 15, it's gonna be really taxing on your body, maybe impair recovery, and then you'll do less volume. And if you go under 6 reps, it's gonna be more geared towards a possible injury, which of course is bad for muscle growth if you get injured. So I'd recommend staying in the 6 to 15 rep range most of the time, and you can dip above and below it occasionally. Another massive training mistake most lifters make at the start of their career is that they think they need to be so sore after a workout for it to count. This is just not true. Being sore is the result of a novel stimulus, not an effective stimulus. I could go for a marathon and I'd be super sore, my quads would be super sore. That doesn't mean I necessarily built any new muscle. I'm not progressively getting stronger on something and adding new stimulus. Being sore isn't really a good indicator of a good workout. You don't need to annihilate it that bad that you can't walk. It actually might be a negative thing and impair recovery. The only time I think being sore is useful is if you're starting out a new exercise and then you notice that you're not sore in the supposedly targeted muscle group. So let's say you're doing hip thrusts and you feel it in your hamstrings instead of your glutes. That's an indicator that you may perform the exercise incorrectly. But other than that, I don't think you should use soreness as a gauge for a good workout. You should go to your workout logs and see if you're getting stronger over time and progressing. That's what you should be focusing on over soreness. Number 4 is that you always need to be changing up your workout and adding in new exercises to confuse your muscle. This is not true, and that's not how you grow muscle. You don't need to be confusing it with different exercises all the time. What you want to focus on is progressive overload on key movements, key compound movements that you actually keep the same week to week, especially for beginners. I recommend keeping your workouts the exact same and focus on getting stronger week to week instead of just trying to mix up all these different exercises. Oh, this one targets the upper chest and other bullshit you don't need to focus on. You want to focus on getting stronger on the compound key movements. So for example, if you have a push day, you want to keep bench press and like incline dumbbell bench press, whatever, it's an example, the same. Like, you don't want to be changing that because you want to be focusing on getting stronger on those movements. Maybe you can change up a variation of flies, sure, but you want to keep core movements that you are constantly getting stronger on week to week. Do not change them up. Eventually, if you enter a new training block, that's fine, but you want to spend a large amount of time progressing on these movements. That's how you grow muscle, progressive overload. You need to be getting stronger and adding more stimulus, more volume to your workouts as time goes on. All right, so the last myth or training mistake beginners make is that they think they need to go to failure on every single set in the workout. Now, going to failure does have its time and place, and I would recommend going to failure maybe on your last set of the exercise, but for the first, second, third sets, whatever, you don't need to go to failure, because if you're going to failure every time, you're going to be fatiguing yourself and you're not going to be able to lift as much weight or go as intense on the following sets and exercises after it. You want to keep around 1 to 2 in the tank, and that's going to be much more optimal for keeping things more intense the rest of the workout and being able to add more volume on all of your exercises after it and progress on them a lot easier. If you're going to failure on your compound movements all the time, it's going to impact your sets after it, and you do not want that. You want all your sets to be very effective. So keeping 1 to 2 in the tank is optimal. And also the muscle growth from going 1 to 2 in the tank to going to failure is very similar. So why not just keep 1 to 2 in the tank so you can actually add more volume for the rest of your workout and be more intense, lift more weight to actually put on more muscle. So that would be there. Also, you have a very increased risk of injury if you're going to failure on all the time, especially on compound movements. You don't want to be getting injured. All right, guys, that is going to sum it up. That is the 5 biggest training mistakes I personally made and what most people make in the gym when they're just starting out. I'm glad I could bring you some value, or I hope I brought you some value with this video. You are no longer going to make these mistakes and you are going to make insane progress. Most people do not know this information, and they're going to have to learn through trial and error like myself. But I'm cutting that line in half, and you do not have to, make those same mistakes I did. So really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.